The alien command chamber was silent. Not calm, not peaceful. Silent in a way that made even the oldest beings uneasy. The chamber floated above the alien homeworld, a vast hall of black metal and cold blue light. Giant screens covered the walls, each one showing a different star system under the Empire's control. Thousands of systems, thousands of conquered worlds. At the center screen was a small yellow star. Sol, Earth. Supreme Commander Varkle stood with his hands behind his back. His species had ruled the galaxy for over 100,000 years. He had personally overseen the fall of 12 civilizations. Humans were not impressive. They were loud, they were divided, they fought among themselves more than against others. For years, the Empire had crushed human colonies on the edge of space, orbital strikes, fleet raids, economic blocks. Earth had protested, shouted, begged, but never truly fought back. That silence had convinced the Empire of one thing. Humans were weak. "Status report," Varkle said. An officer stepped forward. "Earth remains isolated. No fleet movement, no large weapon launches, no surrender signal either." Some commanders laughed softly. "No surrender?" one asked. "They should be grateful we still allow them to exist." Varkle did not smile. He stared at the screen showing Earth. Blue oceans, white clouds, a peaceful-looking world. Too peaceful. "Humans always talk. Why are they quiet now?" No one answered. Another officer spoke carefully. "Our sensors detect unusual energy activity." The laughter stopped. "Explain," Varkle said. "Deep within Earth's system, energy readings are rising. Not from orbit, not from ships, from inside their planet." Varkle turned slowly. "Inside?" he asked. "Yes, Commander." That made no sense. All advanced species placed weapons in space. Planets were weak, fixed, easy to destroy. A junior analyst raised a clawed hand. "Commander, Earth's defense satellites are changing position." Varkle looked at the screen again. The satellites were not facing outward toward space. They were turning inward, toward Earth. A ripple of unease moved through the chamber. "Are they malfunctioning?" a commander asked. "No," the analyst said. "They are responding to commands, perfectly synchronized." Varkle narrowed his eyes. Why would a species aim weapons on its own world? No one could answer. Minutes passed. Earth sent no messages. Human ships did not move. There was no sign of panic. That was wrong. When worlds were about to fall, there was always panic. The analyst spoke again, his voice tight. "Commander, Earth's communication channels are closing, one by one." Varkle felt a strange sensation, not fear, something older. Instinct. "Are they hiding?" another commander asked. "No," Varkle said slowly. "Hiding species run, they flee, they scatter. Earth stayed still." The Empire had destroyed cities on Earth before. Billions had died across human colonies, and yet Earth still stood. Varkle remembered the reports. Humans rebuild fast. Humans learn faster. Still, they were supposed to be inferior. "Open a direct channel," Varkle ordered. A human face appeared on the screen, calm, tired, determined. "This is Supreme Commander Varkle of the Dominion. Earth has violated imperial law. You will surrender or be erased." The human did not argue. The human did not plead. He simply said, "Message received." The screen went dark. That was all. Some commanders laughed again, but the sound felt forced. "That's it?" one asked. "No speeches? No anger?" Varkle said nothing. Then the alarms began. Not loud, not screaming, just a low, steady warning tone. "Commander," an officer shouted, "we are losing sensor data across multiple sectors." Screens flickered, star maps vanished, communication lines went dead. "What is happening?" Varkle demanded. The analyst looked terrified. "It's not an attack on our fleets, it's an attack on our network." That was impossible. The Empire's network was ancient, layered, protected by systems no one else understood. "No species can do that." The analyst swallowed. "They are not attacking randomly. They are targeting everything that connects us." Power nodes failed. Warp gates shut down. Entire regions of space went blind. Earth still did nothing visible. No fleets, no missiles, no explosions, and that was the most frightening part. Varkle stepped closer to the screen. Earth looked the same, peaceful, silent. A final alert appeared on the main display. Time synchronization detected. Origin, Earth. "What does that mean?" Varkle asked. Before anyone could answer, a single message appeared on every screen in the chamber. One sentence from Earth. "Time starts now." Varkle felt something he had not felt in centuries. Fear. Because in that moment he understood the truth. Earth was not preparing to defend itself. Earth was not preparing to survive. Earth was preparing to respond. And whatever the humans had planned, it was already in motion.
Across the command chamber, confusion spread like a disease. Alien officers shouted numbers. Screens showed broken maps. Whole sectors of space had gone dark. Supreme Commander Varkle forced himself to stand still. Panic was for weaker minds. Empires survived by control. "Restore the network," he ordered. "This is a disruption, nothing more." But even as he spoke, part of him knew the truth. This was not chaos. This was design. Far from the alien capital, on a small world forgotten by most of the galaxy, humans watched silently. There were no cheers, no shouting, only focused faces and calm voices. Humans had learned something long ago. If you show your strength, others prepare. If you hide it, others grow careless. That mistake had doomed many species. Humans refused to repeat it. For decades, the galaxy believed humans were weak because they seemed divided. Earth had many nations, many voices, many arguments. Aliens saw chaos. They did not see the system behind it. Human conflict had made them adaptive. Every war, every disaster, every failure had taught them how to recover faster and strike smarter. While alien empires relied on old traditions, humans questioned everything, especially war. The Dominion believed wars were won by fleets and numbers. Humans believed wars were won by ending the enemy's ability to think, talk, and move. Back in the command chamber, Varkle watched as reports flooded in. "Commander," an officer said, "warp lanes are collapsing." "Why?" Varkle demanded. "We don't know. The control nodes are gone." "Gone?" Varkle repeated. "Yes, destroyed, simultaneously." That should not be possible. The nodes were light years apart. No fleet could move that fast. But humans had never planned to move fleets. They had planned to move time. Years ago, when the first human colonies were destroyed, Earth did not rush to war. They did not threaten the Empire. They did not beg for help. They studied. Human scientists discovered something simple and terrifying.
Every empire depended on speed, connection, and reaction. Break those, and even the strongest force became helpless. So humans built weapons that did not explode, weapons that did not shine, weapons that waited. On Earth, cities hid massive structures beneath mountains and oceans, not ships, but machines, quiet, patient. The Dominion spies saw nothing because humans wanted them to see nothing. The lie of human weakness spread easily. Humans traded slowly. They spoke carefully. They avoided conflict. The galaxy laughed. Varkle remembered those reports now. Humans show no sign of advanced weapon systems. Human fleets are small and outdated. Earth is not a threat. All of it was true, on the surface. "Commander," another officer called out, "our long-range weapons are offline." Varkle turned sharply. "All of them?" "Yes, control systems are locked. We cannot override them." That was impossible. No enemy had ever touched Dominion command systems, until now. Human cyber units had spent decades mapping alien networks. They never attacked, never tested. They waited until every weakness was known. When the time came, they struck once, perfectly. Across the galaxy, Dominion worlds tried to respond. They failed. Their fleets could not jump. Their weapons could not fire. Their leaders could not communicate. The empire that ruled 1,000 species could not even speak to itself. Varkle clenched his fists. "How?" he asked quietly. An older commander stepped forward. His voice shook. "They did not fight us the way we fight wars." Varkle looked at him. "They studied us," the commander continued. "They learned what we depend on, and then they removed it." Silence filled the chamber. Humans had never tried to match the Dominion's power. They had planned to make that power meaningless. Far away, human observers watched data flow across their screens. Timers counted down, systems activated one after another. No celebration. This was not revenge. This was correction. One human officer spoke softly. "They still think we are slow." Another replied, "Good." Back in the alien capital, Varkle received a final report. "Commander, Earth has activated something else." The screen showed the human star system. Objects were rising from Earth's surface, not ships, but frameworks, massive structures unfolding in space. Varkle stared in disbelief. "They hid that on their planet?" he whispered. "Yes," the officer said, "and underwater, and inside moons." The Dominion had scanned Earth many times. They had never thought to look deep, because no one ever hid weapons at home. No one except humans. Varkle understood now. The Empire had not misjudged human strength. It had misunderstood human patience. And as the countdown continued, one terrible thought filled his mind. This was still not the attack. This was only preparation.
The timer reached 0. Across the alien command chamber, every screen flashed at once. Then everything began to fall apart. Supreme Commander Varkle felt the change before the alarms sounded. The air itself seemed heavier, as if the Empire had taken a sudden breath and failed to release it. "Report!" he shouted. No one answered right away. Several officers stared at their consoles, frozen in disbelief. Data streams vanished, control panels locked, symbols they had never seen before replaced familiar commands. "Commander," an officer finally said, his voice tight, "we are losing control of our outer fleets." Varkle stepped forward. "Explain." "They are not destroyed," the officer said. "They are blind." That made no sense. Dominion warships were built to fight alone if needed. They carried their own sensors, their own weapons, their own command logic. Yet now, hundreds of ships drifted in space, unable to see or hear anything beyond their own hulls. "What caused this?" Varkle demanded. The answer came from a junior analyst, shaking. It happened everywhere at the same time. That should have been impossible. But humans had never cared about what was supposed to be possible. In the first 10 seconds, human systems activated across Earth's solar system. Silent platforms, hidden for decades, aligned with perfect timing. No engines flared, no weapons fired. They simply turned on. Across the galaxy, Dominion sensors failed one after another, not from damage, but from overload. Human signals flooded every frequency at once, filling the systems with perfect noise. Not chaos, control. Human warfare was not about destruction first, it was about confusion. At the alien capital, Varkle watched entire star maps disappear. "Restore long-range vision," he ordered. "We can't," an officer replied. "The system refuses our commands." Varkle realized something cold and terrible. The system was not broken. It was listening to someone else. On Earth, human commanders spoke calmly. "Phase 1 confirmed," one said. "Proceed," another replied. Back in alien space, the first physical damage began. Human strikes did not hit ships, they hit structure. Energy relays vanished in silent flashes, no explosion, just sudden absence. One moment a power node existed, the next it did not. Entire regions of space lost power. Lights went out on command worlds, gravity fields weakened, artificial atmospheres flickered. The Empire had never planned for this. Their empire was built on shared systems, shared power, shared control. Humans were cutting the threads. "Commander," an officer yelled, "warp gates are shutting down." Varkle turned sharply. "All of them?" "Not shutting down," the officer said. "They are locking." Gate after gate froze in place. Fleets attempting to jump were trapped between stars. Trade routes vanished. Military response became impossible. The Empire was suddenly very large and very slow. In the first 30 seconds, the Dominion lost its ability to move. In the first 40 seconds, it lost its ability to communicate. In the first 50 seconds, it began to understand. Varkle slammed his claw against the command table. "Launch counterattack! Target Earth!" A weapons officer hesitated. "Commander, we can't." "Why not?" Varkle roared. "Our targeting systems cannot acquire Earth or anything near it." That should have been impossible. Earth was not hiding. Earth had simply removed itself from the Empire's understanding of space. Human technology did not cloak ships, it rewrote reference. To Dominion systems, Earth no longer existed in usable form. "Then fire blindly," Varkle shouted. "We tried," the officer said softly. "The weapons will not respond." Silence followed. The truth became clear. The Dominion was not being attacked from outside. It was being turned off from within. On Earth, the countdown continued. Human commanders watched timers fall in perfect order. Each second triggered another failure in the enemy network. "First minute complete in 10 seconds, a voice said. Back in the alien capital, Varkle felt something break inside him. The Empire had ruled ages. They had crushed rebels, erased species, burned worlds. And now, in less than 1 minute, they were helpless. "What do they want?" a commander whispered. Varkle did not answer, because he finally understood. Humans did not want surrender. They did not want tribute. They wanted certainty. Certainty that the Dominion would never rise again. As the final seconds of the first minute passed, one last alert appeared on the central screen. Primary Empire Network offline. The room went dark.
Emergency lights flickered on, weak and unreliable. In the dim glow, Varkol looked around at his officers. Some prayed, some stared, some wept. Varkol felt only cold clarity. This was not a battle. This was not even a war. This was an execution, and the humans had just finished the first minute.
The second minute began with silence. Not the calm silence of peace, but the heavy silence of systems that no longer worked. In the alien command chamber, emergency lights cast long shadows across the floor. Screens stayed dark. Only a few flickered, showing broken images and red warning symbols. Supreme Commander Varkol stood in the center of the room. For the first time in his long life, he had no orders to give. "Reconnect any channel," he said, his voice low. "Any world, any fleet." An officer shook his head. "There is nothing to connect to." That was when the Empire truly began to collapse. In the third minute, gravity failed on 3 major command worlds. Cities built high above the surface began to fall. Towers cracked, transport lanes shattered. Billions screamed in silence as their worlds tore themselves apart. There was no explosion, just failure. The Dominion had always believed its technology was perfect. It had never imagined what would happen if everything stopped working at once. On Earth, human operators watched the same events on clean, clear displays. No emotion showed on their faces. This was not chaos to them. It was a sequence. "Minute 3 confirmed," a human voice said. "Proceed." In the 4th minute, energy cores across the Empire began to overload. Human systems did not cause the overload. They simply removed the control limits. Power plants tried to compensate. They failed. Stars that once fueled the Empire's cities burned out of control. Some collapsed inward, others flared violently, wiping out entire fleets parked too close. The Dominion had used those stars for centuries. They had never protected them. In the command chamber, Varkol watched partial images return to one screen. A home sector burned. Another went dark forever. "This is genocide," one commander whispered. Varkol did not correct him. In the 5th minute, the Empire lost its outer defenses. Automated fortresses, once feared across the galaxy, powered down and drifted. Some collided, some fell into nearby stars. Human weapons still did not fire on ships. They did not need to. Without supply, without orders, without power, the fleets became floating graves. By the 6th minute, panic spread to worlds that had never known fear. Ruling species tried to flee. Civilian transports overloaded space lanes that no longer existed. Nothing answered their calls. Human systems blocked emergency jumps, not violently, simply quietly. On Earth, the countdown continued. 6 minutes, a human officer reported. No deviation. The 7th minute brought understanding. Alien leaders across the Empire finally saw the pattern. This was not random destruction. It was a clean removal of the Empire's ability to exist. Government worlds fell first. Military worlds followed. Economic centers collapsed last. Humans were erasing the idea of empire itself. Varkol felt his legs weaken. "We underestimated them," he said. No one argued. In the 8th minute, shields failed on the alien homeworld. For the first time in history, the sky above the capital changed color. Stars flickered, artificial suns dimmed, the planet's defense grid went dark. Citizens looked up and realized something terrible. The Empire could not protect them.
In the 9th minute, the Imperial archives vanished. Every record, every law, every history stored in ancient data vaults dissolved into nothing. Human cyber weapons did not steal the data, they erased it. The Dominion would not even be remembered the same way again. By the 10th minute, alien fleets that tried to regroup began to drift apart. With no shared time signal, their ships could not coordinate. They collided or scattered into deep space. Human war doctrine was simple. If the enemy cannot act together, the enemy is already defeated. In the 11th minute, the core command world lost orbit. Its engines, silent for centuries, failed at once. The planet began a slow fall toward its star. Varkle watched the image in horror. "That world has 50 billion lives," an officer said quietly. Varkle closed his eyes. Humans knew this would happen. They had accepted it. Because the Dominion accepted it first, every time it destroyed another species. The 12th minute arrived without warning. Human systems triggered the final phase. Deep within the Imperial star system, ancient structures awakened. Devices the Dominion had built long ago, never expecting them to be used against themselves. Human code reached them, rewrote them, turned them inward. In the 13th minute, the Imperial star began to destabilize, not explode, transform. Its balance shifted, its energy spiked. The Empire's heart began to die. Alarms screamed now, real ones, physical ones. Varkle stared at the screen. "They are killing our star," Varkle whispered. "No, they are letting it do what it was always capable of doing." In the 14th minute, the star collapsed. Light vanished. Then everything ended. A wave of energy rushed outward, silent and unstoppable. Fleets vanished, worlds burned, the command chamber shook violently, emergency shields failed. The last image Varkle saw was the symbol of the Dominion fading from the screen. The Empire was gone. Not conquered, not defeated, ended. 14 minutes. That was all it took.
The galaxy did not celebrate. When the Dominion vanished, there were no cheers, no songs, no victory cries. There was only silence, a deep, heavy silence that spread from system to system. Entire star maps had holes in them now. Where the Empire once ruled, there was nothing. Survivors floated in broken ships, planets drifted without guidance, trade routes that had existed for centuries were gone in minutes. Other alien civilizations watched in disbelief. They replayed the recordings again and again. 14 minutes. That was all it took for the strongest empire the galaxy had ever known to collapse. Fear replaced relief, because if the Dominion could fall so quickly, then no one was safe. In a distant council chamber, representatives of many species gathered in emergency session. Some had once feared the Dominion, others had served it. All of them feared Earth. A tall, thin alien spoke first. "Humans erased an empire without sending fleets." Another replied, his voice shaking. "They did not even announce war." Screens showed slow-motion images of the collapse, power grids failing, stars destabilizing, worlds going dark. "This was not rage," one elder said. "This was control." The council fell silent. They all remembered how they had treated humans, ignored trade requests, mocked human technology, allowed the Dominion to attack Earth's colonies. No one had helped. Now Earth had helped itself. On Earth, there were no parades. Human cities did not celebrate. Lights stayed low.
News channels spoke in quiet voices. People watched the stars and tried to understand what had just happened. Human leaders met behind closed doors. The operation was complete. The cost was known. Billions of lives had ended across the empire. Human commanders felt the weight of it. This was not victory, this was prevention. A human general spoke softly. "We warned them." Another replied, "They did not listen." Humanity had made a decision long ago. Never again would Earth wait while others burned its worlds. If survival required fear, then fear would be given. Across the galaxy, survivors of the Dominion sent desperate messages, pleas for mercy, requests for aid. Earth answered none of them. Not because humans were cruel, but because answering would change the message. Earth did not want worship. Earth wanted distance. Weeks passed. The galaxy adjusted to a new reality. Pirates vanished. Small wars ended overnight. Borders hardened. Every species asked the same question: what if humans turn on us next? The answer was always the same: do not give them a reason. Human space became quiet. No expansion, no conquest, no threats. Earth rebuilt its colonies slowly, carefully, but everyone watched. In alien schools, new lessons were taught. Teachers spoke carefully when humans were mentioned. "They appear weak," the lesson said, "but weakness is a mask." Children learned about the 14 minutes. They learned that humans did not fight like others. Humans did not announce war. They ended. A surviving Dominion officer floated in an escape pod near the ruins of the old capital. He stared at the stars, unable to understand how everything had changed so fast. The Empire had believed itself eternal. Humans had proven that nothing was. Elsewhere, traders refused to approach human space. Diplomats hesitated before sending messages. Earth had become a shadow, not because it moved, but because it no longer needed to. Finally, a single message reached every known system. It was short, it was clear, and it came from Earth. "We do not seek to rule. We do not seek revenge. We seek safety. Leave us in peace." The message ended. No threats followed. No fleets appeared. That frightened the galaxy more than any show of force, because everyone now understood something simple. Humans were not aggressive by nature. They were reactive, and once pushed too far, they did not stop halfway. In the ruins of the old Dominion, stars slowly cooled, wreckage drifted, history faded. The Empire became a warning instead of a power, and Earth became something else entirely, a line no one dared cross. Years passed. The galaxy changed, but Earth did not move. Human space remained quiet. No fleets crossed borders, no new weapons were shown, no new worlds were claimed. To many, this was more frightening than conquest, because silence meant restraint, and restraint meant choice. Across distant systems, new civilizations rose. Some were young, some were old but cautious. All of them learned the same story. The story of the 14 minutes. It was told in many ways. Some called it a tragedy, others called it justice, but everyone agreed on one thing. It changed everything. In alien academies, students studied the fall of the Dominion. They learned how the strongest empire collapsed without a single fleet battle. Teachers spoke slowly when Earth was mentioned. "Humans appear divided," they said, "but division does not mean weakness, it means many minds." They explained how humans argued, failed, rebuilt, and adapted, how centuries of conflict on one small world had shaped a species that prepared for the worst. The lesson always ended the same way: never force humans to choose survival. On Earth, life continued. Cities rebuilt, children were born, people laughed, worked, and dreamed. Most humans never saw the weapons hidden beneath their oceans and mountains. They did not need to. Those weapons existed so they would never be used again. Human leaders met only rarely to speak of the past. When they did, their words were careful. One elder once said, "We showed them our strength so we would never have to show it again." No one disagreed. Far beyond human space, explorers approached the ruins of the old dominion. What they found shocked them. No monuments, no archives, no clear history. Human systems had erased the empire so completely that even memory had faded. The dominion did not become a legend, it became a lesson, a warning written in empty space. Among traders and travelers, stories spread. They spoke of human patience, of how Earth waited while the galaxy ignored it, of how humans studied quietly while others laughed. The stories always ended with the same moment, the moment Earth finally struck back. Some said the humans were monsters, others said they were protectors. Most decided it did not matter. What mattered was this: Earth did not seek power. Earth did not seek fear, but Earth accepted both when survival demanded it. A young alien child once asked a teacher, "Why didn't humans take over the galaxy after they won?" The teacher paused before answering. "Because humans were never trying to win the galaxy," she said. "They were trying to make sure they could live in it." In the quiet halls of old human cities, museums added small exhibits about the war. They were simple: no heroic statues, no triumphant music, just names. Names of lost colonies, names of burned worlds, names of those who never came home. Humans remembered the cost. That memory kept them careful. Far away, a new empire once began to rise. It grew fast, it spoke loudly, it threatened its neighbors. Someone reminded them of Earth. The empire stopped growing. Borders closed, ambition faded. Fear did what war could not. As centuries passed, the galaxy reached a fragile balance. Trade resumed, cultures mixed, conflicts stayed small. Every species knew there was a line. No one argued about where it was. It was called Earth. In the final years of the story, a historian wrote a single sentence to describe humanity. He wrote, "They were not the strongest, nor the kindest, nor the most advanced. They were the ones who learned." That sentence spread across the stars. It became the final truth of the age. The legend of Earth was not built on fire or conquest. It was built on restraint, on patience, on the promise that humanity would never strike first. But when Earth struck back, history itself would end.